picture? Isn't it awesome? Yeah. Oh, so I remember the
Yes,
little one.
and then my friend, I made one for him too, and he did the framing just like she does with the box frame.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do this one.
You said you went to her shop?
Yeah.
We did a trip across Canada, not last summer, but the summer before.
Yeah.
And started at Niagara Falls and just went east with our friends. And I made all the hotel reservations. That was my job.
So you made sure you put them in the right places.
Yes, I said I want to go to 3 rug cooking places. I want to go to Chetty Camp, and I want to go to her shop, and I want to go to the museum, the International Museum of Rug Cooking, or whatever.
Yeah, we did that last May with my sisters. It's a fun trip.
Oh yeah. And they got really into it. And Debbie made a little one. She had never cooked before. She bought a little kit and made it.
Very nice.
So what was Chetty Camp like?
It's becoming kind of deserted.
A what?
There used to be, I read somewhere, there used to be like 20 shops there, 50 years ago. People would flock there. Now it's down to 2, and the one we were in was closing. It was sad.
A rug cooking shop, you mean? And it was closing, so they're just going to have one?
And they still have a little museum there, but it's just sad.
Yeah, that is sad.
She's thriving, but she's not in that tiny a town. She's in a bigger town.
Right. Is she in Newfoundland or?
No, Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia.
All those things were in Nova Scotia.
Yeah, I'd love to go take a trip out there. My son lives on the East Coast. He lives in South Carolina, and I just go up north a ways, visit some other stuff.
Yeah, we came back through Bar Harbor, which we've never been to, and then we came, there's some town in upstate New York that has horse races, and we went there, and I can't think of the name of it. My husband loves horse races, so we stopped there. Then we headed home. But it was tiring. I mean, we were gone like 2.5 weeks, and Steve did all the driving. By the time we got home, his leg was really sore. Driving. So I felt bad.
Yeah.
Okay, what's it called again?
Locker hooking.
Locker hooking.
Somehow I got this one. I don't know where I got this one, but I love
It's a whole nother ball of wax.
Now this one I bought from Amazon just recently. This one,
But it helps you
I
clear
bought
out your
at
scraps.
a estate sale
Yeah, I'll bet.
with some, with some stuff.
So do you use the other stuff for quilting, or is it all for
Oh no,
rug
this
hooking?
is all from quilts.
From quilts?
Yeah, I have several drawers of just scraps from quilts. So I dabble in a little bit of everything.
I understand. So do I. A lot of us do, I think.
Yep.
Which is really. So you're not using scraps at the moment. You're using thread. This.
Oh, I use a cord. You can use a strip.
A strip for that.
Yeah. But I was taught with a cord. So I have leftover cord from years ago. Yeah, I thought that's a good idea.
So it's kind of like cooking.
It's almost like crocheting to me.
A little more like crocheting.
Because you're going in and it's like when you hook and bring your thread over and then bring it up.
Yeah.
But this is the bag.
And then you just bring the
I just trim these as I
cord
go.
through
It
there.
holds it in
And that
place.
way,
That's
nobody
neat.
can see it.
So, and then I'm going to go back in and
Yeah, I
I'm going to
don't know
weave these in
but you're supposed
to my
It's
places.
like rug wrapping, you're supposed to, you know.
And this is going to be a cover for that binder.
I do
Oh,
start
wow.
with the small things first, You know, like if I have eyes in this thing, you know, whatever.
So
This is a real.
this part of it you'll fold over or something, and
It'll go on the inside.
Inside.
This will be hooked also, but I'm going a different color. So it'll go on the inside, and this is the spine right here. Because I waited, I only have to use this much more, and then I'll change, and this will just be whatever leftovers I have.
Compared to the other needles.
I'll probably go with the lighter blues to split it
See,
on
I've
both
had all this
sides.
stuff before and got rid of all
Oh, yeah.
And
twice.
then
so where do you get that stuff?
Oh,
And then I thought after they healed me, maybe this would
The
be
base
easier
stuff.
to do, but it's hard.
like the funny part, like, I got this stuff and I was just using.
So I got mine from Marilee's originally. And then I think you can get it at Joann's, Amazon.
Really? And they call it what?
I would get mine from.
Locker hooking backing?
And I'd ask her if I know how to do that. She said,
We need to ask her.
I like the.
She's got her book. She's got 2 books with her. I don't have my book with me, but it would tell you what it is. It's like latch hook. Yeah, it's your backing for like latch hook.
For same type of backing as latch hook, only you just do it a different way.
You're doing it a different way, a different technique.
Oh, okay.
Let me see.
That's interesting. Those would make good rugs too.
Oh yeah,
They
it
would
would make
make
real
them
nice rugs. It'd be
very
probably
sturdy.
last a lot longer.
Yeah, and you could probably wash them too.
I put the, it's where the.
Yeah, because all this fabric's been washed.
And it's pretty.
So, like the front.
I mean, you could do all kinds of stuff with it.
You can, whatever your imagination says.
That's where
Some
you.
of those directions.
put
That's
the hole
awesome.
in it and
I'm gonna
It goes down.
take a couple pictures of your stuff.
You move along, you
Who
can
knows?
see what you're doing.
Who knows?
Karen Pfeiffer, Marilyn Moore, Debbie Gillette, and Becky Dishman. So in March, April, I don't have anyone scheduled. If you want to get on the schedule, talk to me. If you need the form, I've got plenty. And if you need a paper, I've got plenty. And I think I have enough people signed up for the February meeting, but after that, I'll be asking more people to share their stories. Before I do that, at the retreat, we are going to be making the snippet bowls like this. If you need a paper with the materials that are needed, raise your hand and I'll get you one. Activity during the retreat. Okay, today we have 2 of our members that are going to share their rug hooking story. Susan?
Lucas says was introduced to rug hooking. Basically saw it at crafts fairs or just saw it around and was very interested. And my husband said, "Well, that would be a good thing to do instead of the needle felting." So I was like, "Okay." So I think it was like May of 2022 that I started, and I took a class from Debbie. And the pattern, she had several patterns there, so I just chose something and got the wool from her there. And so that's what it is.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
I just kind of decided to do odd things, so it has no rhyme or reason in some spots, but photo I'd see.
Lay your paper down.
Yeah. Thank you. So let's see. One of my favorite pieces was the big rug that I did that I put in the fair, which was the Mary sheet by Judy Griffith. I think it is. I have no style. Sorry. Not yet, anyway. Yes, exactly. I'm still getting there. The best thing about rug hooking is the people that you meet and the ability to make all kinds of things. And at this point, I have no advice for new beginners. Favorite tips, which was the thing I have most trouble with, is the twisting underneath, is that eventually you'll conquer that. Proud moment was when I finished my big rug. And the goal in the future was to make more more rugs. So,
Great. Great. Good job.
I'll be entertaining you guys for the rest of the afternoon. For those of you that haven't met me, my name's Helen Gravener, and I'm probably the newest member of the guild here. So I'm going to go way back. I was first introduced to wool by my father. My dad was in the Army, and I'm the middle child of 9. And we all had Army blankets on our beds. And some of us didn't like it, but I was one of the ones that loved it. Because that blanket over me gave me a feeling that it was giving back. It was touching me and giving back to me as much as I was giving it. Wool has, to me, the feel that it's giving you something. It's indescribable to me.
Because it's from an animal.
Right. We slept under Army blankets, and then I'm going to fast forward. My next experience with wool was, we had blankets for a long time because those things never wore out. In junior high, I remember in pep club, I had a red wool skirt, and it came down to my knees. But I screwed up, and I washed that wool skirt, and it became a mini skirt. And I don't think I got to wear it as near as much as I wanted to, because it was short. And then I married, and I had 2 children, and I now have 3 grandchildren, and I worked. And I crafted. I've done several things in my lifetime, all the time that I worked. And I collect things in tubs and stuff, and it was one of those things that then maybe one day I'll get to do it. So I finally got to retire, and then COVID hit. And we couldn't go hardly any place without it being a necessity for us to be there. And so I went to my basement and I started digging on those tubs of things that I wanted to do, and I had put them off for years and years. So I knitted 3 sweaters. One of them I wore today.
Wow.
This is my sweater that I knitted.
Wow.
In back. And then I get several magazines, and in this magazine was a picture of a wool table runner. Well, there I go back with wool. See them. And I thought, well, I want that table runner off of that. So I Googled wool in my area, and a quilt shop in Carthage was where I found the wool that I work with. And the girl there, now I'm going back to my paper. The quilt shop owner was the one that introduced me to the wool. And it is, let me see, here's my table runner. I went to her shop and I started, but I never make the thing that it looks like. I deviated away from the pattern, and that is my handwriting. And I had a pattern. I found my book. It's I'm looking for that. There it is. My poem. I write things down and I think I'll use them later. My little black book. And this poem says, would you come into my garden? I would like my roses to see you. So I'm thinking, I want my table runner to be fashioned after my grandmother's garden. And so I changed the words and I had them read, come into my grandmother's garden. She would like her flowers to see you. So this is going to be, when it's finished, it'll have ferns on it. It'll have a bleeding heart, because my grandmother had bleeding heart. And I tried forever to get a bleeding heart to start. And they're hard, but I finally got a bleeding heart to bloom and grow in my garden. So she had irises, and she had lots of lily of the valley. She had lots of other flowers in her garden, so that is a work in progress. So then, whenever I went to the quilt shop, the lady that owned the quilt shop says, would you come on Thursdays? We have a group of ladies that meet in the back room, and one lady teaches rug hooking. I said, I've never done rug hooking. Oh, you would love it. Oh, yes, I loved it. By the time I got through with that first Thursday, I had spent $288.50 of loving it. It's very contagious. She loved me too. But I signed up for her class, and this was my first piece.
Oh, wow.
This was a kit that she had put together, and I got to choose some of the things, but the biggest part of it came all together. And I had her showing me the basics the first day, and then the second day I was supposed to have it done so that she could show me how to steam it and then roll the edge and use the yarn to work the binding and all. And she says, who showed you how to do that? This red and white little booger, because hers was just plain on hers. And I said, at night, whenever I go to bed, I think about things, how I could do things, you know. And I wanted my border to be red and white. But if you look at the back, see, I alternated it, you know, and just worked it kind of like I did in the front. So it wasn't really that much to do. So anyway, I was pleased with it. And that's what it all boils down to. You being pleased with your own work. So then, whenever I got the next issue or another issue down the primitive quilts, well then I seen a pattern in here that I liked real well, and it was a quilt pattern that I wanted just to use that portion of it. So I took this and I drew it off on this paper.
That's freezer paper.
It's just freezer paper. And I decided that I'd take this and ask Kathy how I transpose this to my canvas. Because some things I need guidance on, and some things I can kind of work out in my own mind. So whenever I took that magazine, she goes, you can't do that. I said, I can't do this? Why can't I do this? She said, because you're taking away from this lady that has this mat that's copyrighted. And I said, but I'm not selling it. I'm not doing anything mass producing it. I'm using it as my own and I probably will change things because that's just me. And she thought that I was changing things up so that I could use her pattern, this lady's pattern. But she said, would you do something for me? And I said, yeah. And so I called this lady, and she spoke to me, and I explained that I was really interested in her pattern that she had published in the Primitive Quilts and Projects, and I was wondering if I could use it for rug hooking. She goes, rug hooking? I never dreamt anybody would use my pattern for rug hooking. And I said, well, I would like to use your pattern, but I was talking to my teacher, and she said that with you it being a copyrighted, she goes, after I sell things to the magazines, then I release all privileges unless you're going to mass produce it, you know, and I'm not going to there's no way I'm going to mass produce this. So anyway, she said, would you do something for me? And I said, oh, well, it depends on what it is. And she said, would you rug hook that for me? And I would love to have. And I said, I don't think that I can, because this is my very first project. So I'll share with you my very first project, which is still a work in progress. So this is what it looks like.
Wow.
And this is my
That's
first.
beautiful.
Excuse me, I'm Ian. Okay.
And you'll notice that I've got silver braid or gold braid up here. Well, all it is just gold trim that I've hooked in because I thought I want gold. So I put waves in it so that the flag looked like it was waving. So I see how I deviate away from the pattern. So that's just me.
Oh, so your triangles are going to be red, blue. I see.
Red and blue all the way around. So that is my projects. Where's my paper that I need to go back to? Okay. One of my favorite pieces that I'm still working on it is this. I would describe my style as I look at books and magazines and I get inspired, and then I change things up and make it my own design. And I think anybody can do that, and everybody probably does that. That's why we've got the library here, and we go back there and we can pick through a book and check it out, or get a magazine at the local stand and look at it and think, well, I've got that color and maybe another color, or maybe I want to change it up altogether. And the best thing about rug hooking, I think I get to relax and I get to color by hooking. It's not color by number, it's color by hooking. A piece I'd advise to have for the beginners is create your own color and style. One of my favorite tips or hints would be, don't cut up all your noodles don't cut any more noodles than you would need for that project. You might need that color for some other piece later on, and you'd wish that you hadn't cut it up in little strips. Yeah. So, a proud moment for me was when that lady that I called about the quilt using her design, she wanted me to hook a rug for her. And I thought, she's got to be kidding. Here I'm on my first project, you know. A goal that I have for the future is to finish all my projects just like everybody else.
You're probably there already.
Yeah. One of the things that I regret, and I've thought about this several times, is look at things before you get rid of them. I had a Pendleton jacket that was baby blue and gray, and I let it go in a rummage sale, and now I could kick myself because I could have cut that up, I could have felted it, I could have used it for wool applique, I could have used it in so many things in my projects now. So now whenever I clean out my closet or do something with cloth, I look at things kind of outside the box and I think, could I use this in something else? And when she was bringing out those things, those little rings with that, I'm thinking, I made a necklace a long time ago that was, we cut t-shirts across and we braided them and we stretched them out. And when you stretch them out, they curl on themselves and it makes a nice little band. And you can cut up t-shirts, you can cut up a lot of things. So I would just kind of regret the fact that I let that Pendleton jacket go, and it would have been useful now, but there's been a lot of things come my way, you know, and you all being my friends now, that's a big plus in my life now too. So
Thank you.
So that's my story.
Thanks for watching, and I would really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. It would help us out a lot, and hit the thumbs up button. Also, if you have any questions or comments, please drop them below. I'd appreciate that also. Have a good day.